So as Deborah said earlier, there are a couple different algorithm formats that are used on the Praxis. Again, the pseudocode is the one that is used on the most number of questions if you look at the quantity. So we'll actually be spending time on that today, a lot of time on that today, a lot more time next week, and even the week after, we're still going to be talking about some of the pseudocode examples. But the other formats also used on the Praxis include natural language and flowcharts. So I'll say a few words right now about natural language, and then Deborah will about the flowcharts there. Okay. So natural language, what is natural language? Well, that's describing the steps of a process in plain English, the steps of an algorithm, the steps of a computer program that it would take in just normal English or any language, right? I mean, Spanish, Chinese, French, Swahili, any human language as opposed to a computer language, right? So here are two examples of how an algorithm could be expressed in natural language. So I could tell you all to think of a number, any integer, add 50, then double the result, subtract 40, okay? Things like that. I could just be saying that written down. Or another example that's not mathematical, but sort of just a normal everyday process. Go to the mailbox, open the mailbox. If there is mail inside, grab the mail with your hand and remove it. Shut the mailbox, walk back inside your house. So those are examples of using natural language to describe processes. And really, any process that is a step-by-step process that is able to work towards a solution to some can be described as an algorithm.
All right. The next format that you can see is the flowchart. With the flowchart, there are specific symbols that are used, and this the ones that we have here are the ones that are commonly used. You have the oval for a start, then you have this rectangle for a process, and always the diamond is always the decision one. And then you have your inputs and your output, which is more like a rhombus, and they all connect with arrows. We'll be giving you a moment to practice in just a minute, but I wanted to show you in the next slide how you connect them together. Please note that I did put that arrow right there to show you that anywhere you see an equal sign, we are supposed to have an arrow. So for those of you who have taught other programming languages, this is where I want to make sure that you understand that we use the arrow as an assignment. That's what we always use for these specific exams whenever you're assigning. Thank you, Nick, for showing that. So go to the next one. Oh, and let's before we do that, why don't we go step by step and look at what is happening in this flowchart? So we have the start, and then you read n, whatever n was. Is it a letter or was it a variable that had been given? Then you're going to assign 1 to m, and you're going to assign 1 to f, and then you're going to check over here. If you multiply f and m, which is 1 times 1, then you would assign that to your to f. So f now has changed, but really it would have changed if one of them was a 2, but right now it still stays as a 1. So then you can go back and check, is n equals to m, depending with if you had assigned the number you have assigned to n. We know n is 6, and m right now is 1. So they are not equal. So if they're not equal, then you're going to go to no. And now this time you're going to take your 1 plus 1, because m currently is 1. And you're going to assign that to m, and that becomes a 2. So now you come back again, and this time you have f, which was 1, times 2, and you assign that to f, and then you check it. And really, that part right now, the check is not really making that much of a difference yet for what we're doing. So right now we are going to check, is m equals the same thing as 6 as n, and remember n is 6 and m is 2. It's not. So now we come back here, we add 1 to the 2, and then we go back and check. This time again, when we check, M is 3, it's not, and we go another time. We check another time, is M. This time it became 4, and then we go another round until it becomes 6, and once it becomes 6 and it's yes, we print F and we end. So thank you, Nick, for going through step by step. So that's the way we would walk through this chart, and that's how, if you got a question in the exam, you're expected to step through that way. So 12 is just another example. Next slide, Nick. So this one gives you more of a word description, and you would go through it through the same process. You would be looking at it at the same process. So when you start at the beginning, what is happening right there? What happened? Okay. How to survive a zombie apocalypse? Are you already bitten by a zombie? If it's yes, then you go to a populated area where you have access to human brains. Of course, Nick had to put that there. If not, then are you scared of? Go ahead, Nick.
So I didn't create this. I stole this from something Diane used, and she got this, I think, from that link down the bottom. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. She got it from the link. I was like, Nick would do that. I would not be using zombie brains, but it's a good one in the morning. It gets us laughing and it gets us awake. So if you've not been bitten, then are you scared? If it's yes, do you know how to use a weapon? If not, you could at least run. So you would go that one route, or then the route going, no, you don't. Then do you think you can fight a zombie on your own, or find someone who can protect you? So there are all different kinds of aspects that you could have during a question with a flow chart, and you just need to follow the questions and the prompts, and then you'll be able to answer the questions. So most likely they'll be asking, describe one way to safely survive the zombie apocalypse. So can you do that? Can somebody go through one and show me how they would do that very quickly? Anybody want to try? Michelle, it looks like you want to try.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had a question first. On the zombie one or the next one where you have us drag the icons?
We will do that in a minute. On the zombie one, just go through one quickly. See if you can escape. You can survive.
Okay, let me make it bigger a little bit. All right.
Sure.
How to survive the zombie apocalypse? Are you already bitten? Yes, then I guess I'll die. But no. Are you scared? A little bit, because they're pretty freakish looking, but from what I've seen on TV, they're kind of slow.
Okay.
And you might, if you have a weapon or a bat or something, you could often defend yourself. So let's say no.
Okay.
Do you think you can fight it off on your own? Yes, I'm going to say I have some confidence in that. Okay, so
all
then,
right.
So I will either shoot their head, or I will bat them, or as long as you don't fall down and they get you. See, TV makes it look like we can all beat the zombies.
All right, fantastic. That's a good one. Thank you for going through that one. And that brings us to this one, where you're going to have the practice slides yourself. So let's look at this. What you're going to do. This one, you're going to rearrange the following flowcharts and add an arrow. Nick, do you mind putting an arrow there where they can copy and paste, just in case, so we don't spend too much time trying to find one?
Sure, let's do that on the slides that they can edit, sure.
Okay, all right, yeah. Add some arrows. So what you're going to do is you're going to put the start in the right place, the end in the right place. Remember, the diamond is the decision, and the rhombus is asking you questions, and then add all those boxes, and we'll give you about 5 minutes. we'll come back together. So Nick, if you could go ahead and share. Did you put one together, Nick?
Oh, no, I did not.
Okay, all right.
But there is a uncover for solution slide at the very end there.
Okay.
Of course, multiple solutions of how you arrange them.
Yes.
Yes.
They are different. Yeah. How many sugars are? Let's see. We can go with Mike. Let's see Mike's thinking. Oh, I was looking at Mike's. Which number was that? Mike. Mike, you want to explain to us how you went about yours?
Well, I was having some trouble moving things, so
Okay.
I just got kind of in the weeds there. But I was thinking that you'd want to start with 0 and then see how many how many spoons of sugar a person needed, and then check to see if it was the right number. And if it wasn't, you'd add 1 and then go back to the decision and ask again. And if it was, you would go to end. Yeah,
that is the one point that we wanted you all to notice was that go back. You know, that go back. If you need to add a sugar, you will need to do that loop back again. Go try. Wanted you to just get a quick wake up this morning. Nick, go to the solution. But as we go on, does anybody have a question?
Just delete this. I don't know. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So yep. So great. Or go ahead, Deborah.
Yeah. So we would go ahead and start. You always have your start, and then you always initialize your variable, which is a word I'm using that will be Nick will talk to you a little bit more. Then you would ask how many sugars do you want. If you see where the diamond is, that is an important area to be, because you want things going for the no side and the yes side should both come out from the decision. So the decision is always a Boolean kind of question, a yes or no question. What is Boolean? We will discuss that a little later. So we are bringing in some vocabulary that we'll use a little later. So if it's yes, if you need some more sugar, then you could add, and then you count, then you need to go up and above the diamond to enter the diamond again to ask the question. So that is important. If you didn't need any other sugars, then you just leave and you start your coffee and you're good to go. So that is, and you would get a question like that with maybe variables already put in, and they might leave out what needs to go in the diamond and tell you what should you put inside the diamond so that you can get your output to be correct. They give you an output and leave what is in the diamond out, and you have to come out with that question. Or they could have a question in there, and then they have you printing what the outcome will be. Nick, if you need to add anything else, that's good, and then we can move on.
2 very quick comments. So one of which is that you could technically do these 2 in either order. You could ask the person first and then set your count to 0. As Deborah said, we do traditionally usually initialize our variables near the beginning of our code. So that would probably be the way a programmer would do it, would be exactly like this, but it's not wrong if you did the ask first and then set your count to 0. Both of those would be correct. And then the other is, as I was looking through, I saw a lot of correct answers, a lot of great work. I saw different ways of creating this loop of the arrow back around, which is all great. The one thing that I did see, a couple people mixed up their yes or their no, or the yes was pointing to the end where the no was pointing there. And so, and that's a common mistake among students as well, about fixing the yes and the no, or mixing up the less than sign and the greater than sign. So that was the only true maybe error that I saw. Otherwise, excellent work throughout the flowcharts.